Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Illuminati, the man who rules the world, takes on the head of the global elite in this all-new action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue. The sequel to 2019's Joker movie flopped at the box office. Now, many in Hollywood were expecting the sequel to 2019's Joker, Folie, to do big numbers since the first movie made $1 billion at the box office. Unfortunately, the sequel to 2019's Joker only opened with a $40 million opening against a $200 million budget, and the film wound up failing basically due to bad word of mouth that had been going on for several weeks before the movie came to theaters. Now, Joker Folie seemed like a good idea from Warner Brothers studio executives who basically wanted to capitalize on the popularity of the 2019 film Joker, which went on to become one of the biggest hits of 2019, grossing $1 billion at the box office and getting several Oscar nominations, including a Best Actor Oscar win for actor Joaquin Phoenix, who played the role of Arthur Fleck, the man who eventually becomes the Joker. Unfortunately, when it came to this sequel basically didn't fit the vision of the original director, Todd Phillips, who meant for this to be a one-and-done movie, and I have to wonder if that was possibly one of the reasons why this film's overall story was presented the way it was. Because I'm really thinking that even though Warner Brothers Discovery wanted to greenlight this movie to make a quick cash grab, what Todd Phillips possibly could have been doing with this film was looking to try to passive-aggressively sabotage this movie so that there would never be another Joker movie that would further tarnish the character. That's what I think was the reason for his whole plan for making this film a big-budget musical and basically creating a deconstructed story which takes Arthur Fleck back to his dysfunctional beta male roots after he went through this transformation that turned him into a murderous psychopath in the first film. I'm thinking that Todd Phillips was basically frustrated regarding the whole process regarding the greenlighting of a sequel for a film that he basically wanted to be a one and done as related to the overall story of Arthur Fleck, a film that was originally meant to be making a commentary between the lines as related to America's modern man and how he's in a man crisis. I think that's what the original director wanted to do with his original story, was make it a one-and-done movie about how many of these beta males basically are deeply frustrated about not being able to set a course for themselves and their direction in life, and this is what leads to them going down the road to becoming so dysfunctional that they participate in antisocial behavior, and those antisocial behaviors are what lead to Arthur Fleck going on his murder spree, similar to that of mass shooters and serial killers. That's what I believe Todd Phillips was trying to make a commentary on in the first Joker film, and he didn't want that story basically ruined. Unfortunately, when he got this whole green light for this Joker film, Joker Folie, he basically turned it into a movie that again was passively about making a sequel to the Joker movie, but aggressively working behind the scenes to make sure that this character would not be ever used again, because the character's whole commentary was about showing how this man in crisis was a danger to everyone, and this is not something that he possibly wanted to see commercialized or romanticized in another film, and that's why we got this whole Joker Folie adieu, which was designed to basically be a complete hot mess of a movie, I believe by design. I believe by design what Todd Phillips wanted to do was make Joker Folie a complete disaster from first frame to the last, and that's why we got this movie, which basically, again, starts out with one of the worst premises for a movie that you could ever have, which is making it a musical. Making it a musical because he wanted to make one of the worst films you could ever have regarding the entire genre of superheroes, because making a movie a musical makes it like a complete farce. And then you have the complete deconstruction of Arthur Fleck, where he goes from being a Joker who's just, again, completely out of control in Arkham Asylum to winding up eventually running into Harley Quinn. And as he runs into Harley Quinn, he starts to become a simp once more. And as he becomes this simp once more, he has no idea he's involved with a female predator, and he has no idea that he's involved with this female predator who is basically taking him down a road to destruction. Takes him down a road to destruction as related to his overall situation as he's going on this trial. And as he's going on this trial, he then eventually, according to the movie, again, breaks out of the courthouse and eventually does escape and continues on with this spree with this Quinn woman. And as he's on with this Quinn woman, he basically winds up on a road to further self-destruction, and then eventually winds up getting captured once more. And then we get the twist ending where we find out that Arthur really wasn't the Joker, as he's basically shanked by the so-called Joker. And that's the whole thing, that basically what Todd Phillips is trying to do here, I believe, is again basically tarnish this whole sequel as a way of throwing up not a middle finger up at the fans like some people want to believe. Some people want to believe that Todd Phillips was throwing a middle finger up at the fans, but who I believe he was throwing a middle finger up at were the Warner Brothers executives, who had the audacity to go out here and greenlight a sequel basically that shattered the whole concept of the original Joker movie, because the original Joker movie was not meant to be a commercial franchise. No, the original Joker movie was meant to be a commentary on the state of the modern Western man, and meant to be a commentary on the state of the modern Western man and the state of his mind, in the fact that he is in a place where he gets no real support, where he has no real guidance, and people basically look to take advantage of him, similar to what happened in the first movie, where Arthur Fleck has these aspirations to be this clown, but he's working at jobs where he gets no respect and no support from the men at the job. Moreover, he gets no support from his mother. He basically feels like he's on his own and alone, and has nobody there to basically teach him about how life works for men. And since he doesn't have anybody there to teach him how life works for men, this is what leads to him becoming frustrated and simmering and boiling in anger. And as he's boiling in anger, this is what leads to him exploding in that rage in the first movie, where he goes on this murder spree. And that murder spree basically climaxes when he's on that TV show with the character that Robert De Niro was playing, and murders him on the air. As the ultimate expression of rage, because this guy wasn't looking to help him. He was looking to use him like everybody else. So the original Joker movie originally was about this man whose life was not something that was taken serious, and as they were taking him for a joke, he wound up getting his revenge in the most violent fashion. But most people really didn't think about this movie as deeply as I did when I was looking at this film, because as somebody who studied the struggles of Western men and the man crisis going on, I could see this film as being much more deeper than what people were thinking. People were just thinking, oh, it's a movie about the comic book character, the Joker. No, it's about the whole commentary on the sad state of affairs of Western men, that they are becoming more and more like the Joker because these beta males don't have any sort of guidance on how to navigate life as a man. And this film took place in the 1970s, which was, again, where we were at the rise of the feminist movement. So a lot of things people were missing as related to the original film, and they couldn't see that because they were just caught up in the commercialism of the Joker. And since they were caught up in the commercialism of the Joker, they couldn't see that what Todd Phillips was trying to do was, again, make a brilliant commentary on the state of men, a commentary that would be tarnished by a sequel. So, if he felt that his sense of story was going to be tarnished by a sequel, this is why I believe he deliberately sabotaged that movie by making it that musical and giving us this deconstructed script, a deconstructed script that would basically destroy the character and prevent anybody else from being able to use this character once more. Again, this character was never designed to ever have a sequel. It was always designed to be a one and done movie. It was designed to be a film that basically would be finished after one film. But the studio, again, wanted to get this sequel out because what they want to do these days at these studios is they are so afraid of risk, and what they want to do is go out here and make cash grab movies. And Joker Folie was basically a film making a middle finger up at Hollywood commercialism, making a middle finger up at Hollywood cash grab sequels by presenting you with an absolutely absurd film. An absolutely absurd film that basically destroys a character so that people will get the perception in their minds that, hey, this movie really is terrible and you never want to see this character again. That's what I believe that Todd Phillips was looking to do with Joker Folie à Deux, and most people basically responded the way he expected them to do by going out and being absolutely turned off by this absolutely horrible movie, and a movie that I believe was made deliberately by design to be absolutely horrible so it could flop at the box office, and flop at the box office to send a message to Warner Brothers executives that they don't go out here and tell someone what to do with their art, because film is supposed to be about art. It's supposed to be about making a commentary about life, and a film that makes a commentary about life should not have a sequel. I mean, when I think of great cinema like Marty, I don't want to see a sequel to a great cinema like Marty, which was a great commentary on American romance. I mean, I don't want to see a sequel to Marty where we have Marty with his wife and his kids. That's not what that film's commentary was all about. Neither would I want to see a sequel to Sunset Boulevard where we get to see Norma Desmond in jail. No, we don't need to see sequels to great movies. No, sometimes a great movie just needs one movie. And the statement being made here with Joker Folie à Deux is that that we didn't need a sequel to Joker. No, Joker was a perfect movie that did not need any follow-up on the story. The whole story was completely told because it was the story of Arthur Fleck. It wasn't the story of the comic book Joker. No, this was the story about the modern American man's roots as related to the man crisis, because a lot of this started in the 1970s with that group of men who were a part of that baby boomer generation who were socially engineered to be these kinder, gentler, softer males. And there was a lot of, again, commentary, and again, that all that commentary basically was destroyed by people who wanted to make it all about the comic fandom. But this film was never about comic fandom. No, the whole Joker franchise as related to things, and it never really wasn't a franchise. The Joker film in and of itself was not really meant for comic fans. It was meant for those who enjoy great cinema and enjoy great human stories, something that we've been missing because many studio executives have tunnel vision to the point where they can't think of making great movies that really are commercial and have that great artistic flair. I mean, I really miss those kind of movies, and that's what Joker really was. Sadly, many of the studio executives didn't get that what made Joker popular wasn't the character of the Joker from the comic books, but the human story of Arthur Fleck. That's the thing that people really related to. And this whole sequel was basically a jab at taking a shot at the commercialism of superhero movies and how people will basically look to watch anything based on it being socially popular, and that basically was the undoing of this film. What led to this film flopping basically was deliberate, I believe, by design. I believe by design, Todd Phillips set this film up to fail because he didn't want to see the message of the original Joker ruined, because that's what the studio wanted to do, was go out here and make the original message of the Joker, which was about a man who was had been driven to becoming an antisocial psychopath due to the environment that he was in, eventually making him feel like he had nothing to lose. That was the original commentary in the original Joker movie that people basically did not pay attention to. And Folie was basically to show you that you shouldn't make this kind of guy into a hero because he is a monster. And again, a monster in a world filled with monsters, because if he's not the original Joker, then who is? That's the critical question that people need to ask about the second movie, because the whole point of this Joker character is, again, that the Joker is a person who is antisocial, person who is homicidal, a person who has basically lost all hope as related to being connected to reality, and the world rooting for this guy should have been troubling to people. And I guess what Todd Phillips again was trying to do by ending the Joker the way that it did was to try to get people to realize that you don't want to make a hero out of this kind of villain or romanticize this kind of villain. And this guy basically, again, he was a guy who, when you take him back to his roots, is a simp who can be easily used, not a guy you want to make out to be a role model like people were making with the original character, and not a guy you want to go out here and present as somebody who's an ideal when he's a real picture of the kind of monster that has become a part of America due to the man crisis in this country. So I can understand why they made this a sequel, and I can understand why he made it a sequel that was deliberately designed to fail. Deliberately designed to fail because you wouldn't want to make this kind of character the kind of character that you want to see as a fan. No, the Joker is not somebody you want to root for, and is a villain, and a villain who basically who got caught up in his own insanity, and ironically wound up losing his life to his own insanity as related to the character he thought he was playing. And the whole story of the Joker, again, flopping at the box office. This is like the 6th movie from Warner Brothers Discovery as related to superhero movies failing, and shows that the entire superhero movie genre, it's really in a bad place because you're having movies fail after fail. Now, you had Deadpool and Wolverine, which was an anomaly as related to making $1 billion. Yeah, it made $1 billion, but it wasn't creatively the best movie overall. It just was a big clip show, and again, shows the declining quality of these films and why we need a break from superhero movies and really need to get back to movies about real people and movies about life. We really need to get back to those kind of movies, because it looks like to me that the whole thing that the studios is that they've got this tunnel vision. I'll repeat that once more. They've got bad tunnel vision on these superhero movies because they think that they're easy cash grabs, but they really show how there's a lack of creativity and a lack of imagination over at these movie studios, who all are only thinking about making quick dollars on superhero movies and pouring lots of money into superhero type movies, because the entire budget for Joker Folie was absolutely absurd, and I guess Todd Phillips wanted to take a shot at them for giving him this absurd budget for a movie that should have been should have been a one and done movie, and they should have been focusing on yet another character. I mean, I think about it again, $200 million. You could have made 4 movies out of that overall, or even made 10 movies out of that if you had a $20 million budget. 10 movies on some fresh new concepts that would have helped Warner Brothers Discovery in the long run. But because, again, these directors have tunnel vision and only think about superhero movies and comic book movies, they really they're not telling stories about people, and that's one of the reasons why they're struggling right now. And the whole release date of Joker Folie Adieu had me really saying, yeah, this movie's gonna fail. That was another thing that I noticed, because again, I noticed when studios are serious, they put their movies out in late October or November, or around December, because this is where families are out and they can go out here and get the most money for those movies. But when a studio doesn't really have faith in a movie, they'll dump it in September or they'll dump it in early October. This is where studios take out the trash, and taking out the trash may have had avoided a flop with Beetlejuice, but they did have one with Transformers 1 and Joker Folie Adieu. Transformers 1 was a sad tragedy because it showed studio executives at Paramount didn't understand how movie studios worked, but Joker Folie Adieu, I believe, was basically designed to be set up to fail, and basically be the jab that Todd Phillips wanted to make about modern Hollywood and modern Hollywood greed, basically taking a shot at modern Hollywood and sending a message to them that we need better than sequels. We need a story about people. And again, you just can't go out here and make the same movie over and over and expect the same results. No, when you watch the same movie over and over again, it gets kind of boring. And again, Joker Folie Adieu, again, was, ironically in some ways, art that really showed that the whole superhero movie genre is not about creating quality stories, but just about going out here and making cash grab movies that are all flash and absolutely no substance. Now, if you want to pick up some of my action-packed fantasy on the SJS Direct universe, you can pick up all of those books in the SJS Direct universe, such as the ISIS series, the Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the goth fiction of the Spinsterella trilogy, and my black vampire novel Eternal Night. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And you can pick up my first full comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, in paperback at Lulu.com, and you can get a digital version on Kindle or Comixology right now, along with my first digital comic, Esteem No Good Deed, on Amazon.com. And you can also, again, support the channel and help me make more videos about entertainment and fantasy by dropping a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available on Lulu. John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes comic book. Get your copy of the first John Haynes comic at Lulu.com today. Now available in paperback and e-readers. Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. The aspiring angel tries to escape a house of horrors in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Get your copy of Esteem Horror in the Hamptons in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.